So the next off Amazon advertising strategy we're going to talk about is native advertising. More specifically, a platform called Taboola that serves up native ads. We're going to obviously get into what it is if you don't understand what the heck native ads are, but I'll just start off by saying we've been experimenting with this over the past year. It's a super interesting strategy. Again, taken from true digital marketers that just very few, if any, Amazon sellers leverage. And it's a really unique strategy and one that I've yet to and will not speak about publicly ever. So let's take a look behind the curtain and understand what native advertising is all about. So really the purpose of this video is going to be to review the strategy of off Amazon native ads and how you can leverage it with your brand. This is a strategy that we use sometimes for launches, a lot of times if we want to re-rank or reinvigorate a listing, and sometimes for maintenance on an ongoing basis. And probably the first thing when you saw this was like, what the hell are native ads? And I kind of didn't quite know what they were either until I started digging into unique strategies to drive traffic. And basically a native ad is something that appears within an existing website. And it almost appears like it's an organic, natural article, but it tends to be sponsored. So here's an example on Entrepreneur, basically formatted very similar to how all these actual in-house articles are, but you'll see here there's some sponsored content. And if you clicked on that, it would basically show up as a actual ad. And this here is an actual native ad. You can see these on CNN, Fox, News, magazines, blogs, information sites, literally thousands of websites throughout the web you can target. And what's really cool about them is you can do behavioral and archetypal type targeting. So in the case of golfers, I could talk to people that are interested in sports or people that are interested in golf. And then anywhere that content on the web exists with that behavior target, or where those people are actually on the web, even if it's not related to that niche, we can serve up native ads to those folks. And we take those ads and we drive them to our listing. What's really cool about native ads is it's really a ton of disparate and diverse traffic that's going to hit your listing. So you could get traffic from CNN, from Entrepreneur, from Golf Digest, from Golf Blog. I mean, you name it. There's literally hundreds and thousands of sites that you could be generating traffic, and it's going to make that algo go berserk on your listing. So here's how we set it up. Basically, you're going to want to just fill out the, obviously set up your account first, which takes, a couple minutes. You kind of just go to starting a campaign, and then it's going to ask for the campaign name. It's going to ask for your brand name. And then again, very similar to other ad types, you basically select your objective. We'll typically go with online purchases. Unless you literally just want to have like clicks to your listing, then you can choose either engagement or awareness here. From here, we basically come into the campaign targeting. This is where you're going to want to actually select the country with which you're targeting your listing on. Obviously, if it's the United States, you click United States. You can also do geo-targeting. So let's say we're running this in the winter for our golf brand. We may want to consider only focusing on those warm weather states. So you have that kind of flexibility. And you can also do desktop, mobile, or tablet in terms of targeting type. The cool thing is you can actually include a custom audience. So this is where you can actually import and retarget existing customers, very similar to Facebook ads. So it's super cool if you start to accumulate email addresses and physical addresses, etc. of your audience. Then you can get into actual marketplace audiences where you can either choose behavior and interest, you can choose demographics, you can choose intent or other. So there's a lot of dynamic ways, similar I would say to Facebook ads in terms of how you can sculpt your audience. Here's an example of one that we were doing on a beauty brand. And you can just see if you're doing a beauty brand or a women's brand as an example, all of the different interests that you could kind of find related to it, and then the actual size of the audience that can be served up within Taboola's native ad platform. You can also get into things that are contextual. So there's articles with context. So I want to have, say I'm doing a makeup, I want to only target beauty. We can get into sports if we only want to do sports, and it's going to isolate your targeting and your placements only to those contextual articles that make a lot of sense. And it will actually list the number of articles that you can potentially have access to. Then it's pretty simple. You can create variations if you want. You can do one by one, but basically you're just going to take your campaign. You're going to do your landing page URL. You can use any URL you want. We typically just do the listing image. And then it's very similar to the graphics that we created in the launch Reddit ads. So you just do the pixel width and height that's prescribed by Taboola. You can even take an existing ad from Canva like this one and kind of repurpose it. Come up with a title very similar to a Google Ads title, especially if you're going to do a launch or re-rank. Very similar methodology there. And then you're basically off to the races. You turn the sucker on and you are literally going to be on hundreds and thousands of websites depending on the daily budget that you set. So this is a very unique, I would call it higher level strategy that most digital marketers use that we can incorporate into our Amazon brand, either to cultivate new audiences and make sure that we're serving up archetypal content to drive traffic to our listing, or again, using audiences, we can actually retarget existing customers with repeat purchases, with new launches, or to reinvigorate an older, mature listing. So this is native ads.